In the meantime, there is a bit of a damper here. Some people are using this as a reason to pause. We could have another impeachment battle going on, this time with a different president being targeted by a different party. Take a look at this.
These are allegations of abuse of power, obstruction, and corruption, and they warrant further investigation by the House of Representatives. That's why today I am directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
All right, now an impeachment inquiry does not mean an impeachment, but nevertheless, there were some holdouts among the Republican members, and remember, it's a very narrow lead that Republicans have in the House, who were not keen on this. Congressman Warren Davidson joins us, the Ohio Republican House Financial Services Committee, House Freedom Caucus, very influential figure. Congressman, how do you feel about this?
I spent the past month plus in the district and heard from my constituents. Any court in our district, if you've got eyewitness testimony, emails, bank wire transfer records, video and audio files, you're going to get a conviction. So people back home are going, when? And so I think, Speaker McCarthy heard from across the conference the same kinds of things. And, I'm glad you pointed out this isn't an impeachment itself. It is a more formal step in the process of conducting the investigation. And remember, the reason we know so many of these things is because Republicans did get a majority, and finally there was real oversight and investigation into this. So who knows what else we'll find, but what we've seen already is pretty compelling.
Sir, I talked to a lot of your colleagues who think that there are certainly justifications for questions here, but you don't want to look too zealous. Chris Christie says we could be cheapening this impeachment doing this. Nancy Mace of South Carolina not nearly as vocal about that, but concerned that MAGA goes too far. I don't want to take her words out of context, but what do you think of that?
Well, look, people want to dismiss it, but the facts really deserve to be heard, and hopefully they'll be heard objectively. I think, from what I've seen, pretty compelling. 29 shell companies with wire transfer payments going throughout the Biden family, multiple independent references to, quote, the big guy. I think everyone knows who the big guy is at this point. And so what was for sale? There wasn't like they had a warehouse or a distribution center, a product, a website, a storefront. They had nothing to offer. So what was offered, and I think that's where the impeachment inquiry will dig into that.
Now, Congressman, you're much more aware of how the sausage is made behind closed doors. I'm just curious whether there was a bargaining going on here by Kevin McCarthy that I'll look into this impeachment inquiry. Are you with me on avoiding a government shutdown or this spending measure and these spending measures? We don't go to the brink. Any talk like that?
No, look, I think that this is an independent thing. It should be treated independently. It shouldn't be leveraged. It should just be, let's follow the facts where they lead. And yeah, separately, we do have, a real spending fight. Frankly, that is more about policy than the numbers. The math is bad for the country. You've done a great job, highlighting the financial peril we're in. But on policy, people are frustrated. When I was in my district, people really get that the Democrats are using our government to fundamentally remake America, to really destroy our country. And the status quo is that. The Democrats are content with the status quo, and Republicans clearly have to have a break from that. So we need some sort of policy win with a pipeline of more policy wins in order to keep funding this process. You
don't think that this will hurt you as far as I'm talking about the impeachment inquiry push? And you're quite right to distinguish it's not an impeachment. It's getting the inquiry going. That it can look too zealous and that you might pay for it or your party might pay for it at the polls.
Well, look, my constituents think it's long overdue, and I think, the Speaker heard that from others around the conference. And I think, look, this is not something that should be politicized. It should be a sad thing to look at a president that's at the center of this controversy. And frankly, clearly Hunter Biden was treated differently than anyone else would be in the United States of America. Whistleblowers who've self-identified themselves as Democrats have come forward and saying, look, we're being prevented from doing what we do. We just want to do our job honestly. And frankly, the Department of Justice intervened to prevent them from doing that, and they blew the whistle.
All right. Always good talking to you, Congressman, especially with all of this breaking news. Thank you, sir. Have a safe week as we get going here.